Welcome, Wargamers. This is Doug with 2+tough, and we're going to have a different kind of discussion today, and it's about the future of the channel, and I want you guys to be deciders on how it goes, okay? And I'm going to be completely transparent, and we've had an incredible week of success in terms of people sharing content and things like that, and I'm eternally grateful for all the support, the comments, and things like that. As the channel grows, we're coming to our 5K giveaway, which I am so stoked about. There's like 200 responses to that. It's really cool. Some kind of growing pains arise, and I want to have a very mature and transparent discussion, as I said. And they're kind of come on two fronts. The first one is community, and that is when I set out to do this, I wanted a place for community growth and building for Age of Sigmar. When I started this channel, nobody liked Age of Sigmar. I did a keyword research thing on Age of Sigmar lore and had 0 results, except to say that it was terrible and they should have never switched for Warhammer Fantasy Battles. I get to see every single comment that comes through our videos, and I can tell you right now that discussions are happening, that people's opinions are changing, that the world is becoming more engaging in terms of like the fictional world of Age of Sigmar. And people are really picking up on it and really enjoying it. And I think that's incredible. So I feel like I'm reaching that goal. The problem is that the more videos I produce, the more comments are coming in, the harder it is to respond like I want to do. And so we're going to get to why I have a possible solution for that. But just know that I do care about that. And I do notice it. It's just getting harder and harder with the flood of comments that come in to respond to them all. Now, the second part of this is very practical in the sense that Games Workshop shows no sign of slowing down. We have the Daughters of Cain, which had teasers for the Sea Elves, which they have a name, but I already forgot what it was. I'll care when I see the cover of the Battle Tome. That's how I am. But you know, those books coming out, Black Library is chunking out books left and right, especially short stories, things like that. All of those things cost money, okay? To keep this channel on the edge in terms of getting you, when people are really excited to learn about Daughters of Cain, I want to have the book in hand to tell you about them. And to do that, there are practical costs that go into this that, frankly, the channel doesn't make enough to support itself. It's easy to look at this and say, like, oh, well, isn't YouTube ad revenue taking care of everything? And here's the simple truth, is that it takes, with our demographic, almost 3,000 people to get $1. 3,000 views, because of the YouTube algorithm. It doesn't really actually care about views, it cares about how long you watch a video, and most people don't watch videos very, very long. And so I don't make a lot, okay? I don't make enough to cover the cost of the things that I want to do for this channel. And I want to do more. I want to get new equipment, I want to get a new computer to like produce things faster so I can do more than 3 times a week. Because that is honestly the stumbling block, is the computer. It literally cannot produce the content faster than it is reliably. And so those kinds of things, they're very practical costs. So what I was going to do was start a Patreon. Okay, a lot of folks do. A local friend of mine, who is a great guy, who voiced a concern, and it's a very legitimate one, and the reason for this entire video, that there are too many Patreons in our kind of niche, that every podcast for Age of Sigmar and YouTube channel has one, and people are just getting tired of hearing about it. And to be fair, that is a very valid concern. How do I stand out amongst them? And that kind of discussion needs to be had. But I noticed something. I actually went to the Patreons of several YouTube channels and podcasts, and I'm not going to name them because there's no reason to bring them out like that. But what I learned was they don't do a lot for their patrons. By that I mean the Patreon exists. You can give to it. They'll do shout outs, maybe your name in the end show notes or whatever like that. But beyond that, there's not really much in the way of Patreon exclusive stuff. And I think that that is a mistake. So here's what I'm proposing. If we decide to do a Patreon, it's going to be loaded to the gills with Patreon stuff. Meaning, if I do live streams, which I want to start doing eventually once I can upgrade some audio gear and things like that, that's going to be live for everyone and then go into the Patreon page. It takes $1 a month to be able to see everything that I do there. So hold on a second. that kind of dynamic where I can share stuff with everyone, and then some stuff's reserved for patrons. Exclusive videos, they're going to have more videos per month than everyone else. I think maybe an extra one a week, which would be 4 videos more a month than anyone else is getting. I also want to do a how-to series on building a community. By that I mean I have learned a lot in the almost 3 years that I've been doing YouTube. A lot of information in terms of hardware, software, sharing people. I mean, I record everything that I've done, and I do A and B testing. I can tell you a wealth of stuff. I want to do a series on Patreon on how to make your own YouTube channel and stuff like that. So that kind of fits into the community building vision that I had when I started this channel. Now, the point of all saying all this is because I want to ask you guys, the viewer, what you think. Do you think that there's too much Patreon stuff going on, that no one would want to support it? Keep in mind, like I said, there's very real costs that go involved, so I need to find something. Yeah, so I mean, I want to ask you guys, if I do a Patreon, what would you like to see on there? What would incentivize you to support me as a content producer in terms of, I have this community, I want to bring it to Patreon, and I want to teach you all how to make bigger communities, and that's kind of always been the goal. Conversely, if you don't want me to do it, what are some things that either A, would change your mind, or B, that I think I could do instead? Because a lot of this stuff is, I just haven't thought of it. And the last thing I want to touch on is about the gaming mats. It's easy to say, like, oh, he's selling mats, it must be very lucrative. It is not. Basically, we are going to get multiple designs. Our manufacturer messed up and made just under 200 of the same one. And then by the time I get them, right, have paid for them to be created, got them here, and are trying to sell them, I make about $8 every single one of them. And they don't sell very fast because not everyone needs a gaming mat. And so the point of the matter is, I want to get them out of my life because we're not producing anymore. It's too hard to ship them overseas. They're too heavy. Things like that. Very practical reasons. But when people think about, like, oh, this channel doesn't need, it's very self-sufficient in that regard, it's not. It's not. Those things are a drain on me, and so I want to get rid of them. And that's why I pimp them out all the time. They're great. They're phenomenal. They were printed with, like, incredible quality, and they're great gaming mats. But as far as like a business goes, you know, it's not a direction that I'm interested in going right now. So bringing us back on point, I want to know your opinion on how we should proceed. I have always made this channel a very community-focused thing, whether it's answering your questions, you know, taking time to, when someone says, I'm new and I have a question about blank, you know, I give them a paragraph or two. Discussion is the blood of this channel, and so I want to invite you into discussion about how it goes from here. Just a few things I want to clarify here at the end is that nothing's going away from YouTube. I'm not moving to a paywall or anything like that. It's going to be free. It's a great opportunity to invite new people into the hobby with lore and stuff like that. It's not going anywhere. What I'm trying to find is ways to make it sustainable and then also grow. I have a lot of visions for what I want this channel to be in terms of not only an income for myself, it's a very secondary thing, but also to be able to get battle tomes like the day they come out and start producing video content for them. Like I said, any new computer, this thing limits how much I can produce. Stuff like that, like very practical costs that ultimately give you more content more reliably, and that is, of course, the goal. So I look forward to hearing what my friends have to say. I would love to enter into a discussion. I'm going to be watching this video very, very heavily just to make sure that there is meaningful discussion. Like I said, if you are in support of it, tell me why and what you would like to see. If you know why that as well. And then if you have any ideas that I haven't thought of, please share them with me. I would be... Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy wargaming.